talked about the normal stuff. Good luck, you know, good congratulations on winning, and then eventually, it always gets back to Demon's individual play, and he's like, "Oh, did you see what I did over there?" He's like trying to act all abashed. He's trying to bat his eyelashes. I don't really know what I was doing. And then I was like, "What are you talking about? You ran around the T1 tower with a haste rune. You made them waste 2 sentry wards." And then his veneer of like shyness and abashedness wears off. He's like, "Actually, it was 3." And then I have another story
30 seconds to battle.
about Jimmy too, which I'll go in later. What's going on in the early game?
You can save it, man. We've got some time. We've got a full best of 3 to get through, and that's where I'm hoping we actually go with this series. All 3 games would be the dream for all spectators here.
Yeah, Jimmy's unofficial name. His official name is Demon, as you can see, but his unofficial name is TNC.5K. Normally you ask a player, "Oh, what rating are you?" "Oh, I'm almost 5K. You're like, "Oh, so how close are you?" They're like,
The
"Oh,
battle
4.3.
begins.
It rounds up to 4.5, which rounds up to 5. But Jimmy's the other way around. He's TNC.5K. He's 59.88. So when he loses the game and you go and lose it, "Oh, so Jimmy, what happened to you this game?" He's like, "Oh, don't blame me. I'm only 5K. Whereas if he wins, he's like, "Oh, wow, Jimmy, you played amazingly well. What carried you to this victory?" He'd be like, "MMR don't mean shit."
Man, he knows.
He's that guy.
He knows it all translates like that. In Southeast Asia, that's actually 8K.
Oh, Jimmy.
Into our lanes we go. So the funness in the players, even in the drafting phase before we actually in the lobby before we started, there was a nice little bit of banter going back and forth with even just around the first pick as well as dire side selection. But we have our lanes going off, so Move. He'll be trying to run this safe lane up against the Batrider with the mid dual lane. It's going to be Saksa. He is rotating over to help out Weehar and keep Cuckoo off the lane. While down on bottom, it is the dual Coddle plus Naga Siren off lane against Demon and Raven, the Bro as well as the Dazzle. But at least they've got the range to deal with this dual off lane this time for TNC.
TNC might be able to push early. It's with the Naga first pick. You expect it to be played by resolution, which generally means longer games. We saw it in the new BC series yesterday versus Liquid. You can lose really hard being down 15, 20 kills in the early game, but you do always have that Naga backup. But with sustain from Keeper, even like reset from the Naga Siren and the push potential from Dragon Knight and Beastmaster, they can actually perhaps punish the slow Morphling on the side of TNC.
And we are keeping Morphling down very low, but Morphling's perfectly alright with this. He knows he'll be safe. Got Waveform away, the Breathe Fire still only level 1 for the Dragon Knight, so it's not that much of a perilous burst damage for him. It's this top lane we're keeping a secondary eye on because Beastmaster, he keeps getting heavily napalmed up. So 6 stacks, now he's up to 9 stick charges. So Moose feeling comfortable here, but once he gets 6 sticky napalms, you have to back up. But he's kept the creep wave near enough to his own tower until now. But just safety first.
Wonder where the first rotation is going to come from. We didn't talk too much about the aggro try from DC, keep it alive. Pretty good positioning on the...
Mood down a long way. That's what I was talking about. When Mood gets too far away from his tower, Sash can just capitalize on it, and the Batrider will take the first blood on the top lane against the Beastmaster.
Gotta watch those stacks.
As you do.
Actually, remember casting with you earlier, you're like, "Oh, you need to back off at 6 stacks."
Yeah, you do.
It's like Toby. You gotta back off at like 3.
Well, Moon likes to live life on the edge. Raven got initiated on by the Tusker. And he'll be forced all the way back to base because of this. He can still leave Demon in the lane. He doesn't really have many levels, however. He went the Poison Touch level 1. At least he can soak up some experience at the moment, and he purposely kept himself away from the lane. You need to have throw range with up at level 6, gives everyone advantage, because TNC are running a 5-range lineup with that throw range, so everyone gets the boost.
The biggest problem is they can't pull. They have 2 sentry wards trying to deward their small camp, but it missed, and they have Keeper to Light too. Keeper to Light is one of the best.
They're going in on top lane with that stun and 4 sticky napalm charges. AU's trying to get the body block off. They won't even need it. Move under the cover of the Firefly. Damn, that's just burns. And this DC safe lane not working, and they're forced to bring in the Tusker to the top.
And with the Sentry Ward expiring soon inside the DC, TNC have finally regained control of their safe lane, pick up some levels on Demon and Raven. More importantly, Raven, he's only level 2.5 at the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, that's because of the long walk back home, but keeping back forward, he'll get some help. What do you think about this build coming in from the Morph lane, bypassing the early bottle and going for the double Wraith Band?
That is a build that I have not seen very often. We haven't seen actually too much Morphling mid recently. Maybe he thinks that his supports are going to go for the rune a little bit more. But Purple is generally one of the better heroes who sets runes. Anyone with a blink or a pseudo blink generally has an upper hand.
Tusker, they could turn for this one. AU purposely waiting in the tree line. The 4-minute rune was already taken. It was the Verbal. The London players properly the shards, allowing him to get the vision to snowball up to the Montgomery. Let's get all the way, and Sam sticks with it. With that Firefly. This is now the 3rd kill for the Batrider. He's the highest on the CS. And he's the highest on the net worth by almost 1,000 gold 4.5 minutes in.
Man, Sam Ace, we saw him had a little bit of a rough start on his Batrider earlier, but with a good start like this, it's gonna go ham.
That he will. All the items in the world. You get a drum of endurance in under 5 minutes on top of the tranquil boots you had. Like, we're seeing some of the Batriders have to stay farming a little bit longer because you see these early drum pickups with the tranquil.
5 minute
into Blink Dagger. Yeah, that's a 5-minute drums. So the Blink Dagger timing is going to be almost on the same timing as if you rushed it.
I think he just solo kill Moo at this point. He's held his skill point at 6, so I'm not sure if he's going to go for last.
Demon, the snowball's coming in. The Illuminate needs to connect. It doesn't. Shallow Grave Demon controlled just enough that he couldn't get his Shallow Grave off in time.
A little bit of a 3D play, holding on to the grave there, but doesn't do with likely guidance. Actually, he could have TP'd out. They don't have another stun aside from the snowball.
You'd have to time it really well, though. Or you just get back underneath the tower, let Raven do some damage. And now Raven, this is not the scenario. Like, the Batrider scenario is fantastic for him. The problem you have, okay, is that rotation? No, Weeha's back up the tower. The problem you have is, like, the Drow range now can't find any farm. Like, Drow is forced into her own jungle this early on.
Yeah, she hasn't died, but she needs a safe place to farm. Morphling, not one of your ideal jungle heroes. So ideally you'd want to like swap them out, especially if it's someone who can farm.
Radiant's
stacks.
bottom tower
You actually
is
feel
under
confident
attack.
you can put the Morphling on the bot lane, push the Drow to the mid up
Radiant
against the
structures
DK.
are
I
fortified.
think it's better to stifle your Morphin early than
Dire's
Drow
middle
Ranger,
tower
but
is
it's also
under
really
attack.
inefficient for him to move all the way
Dire's
bottom.
structures
Well,
are
instead they move all to
fortified.
the mid lane. The Morphling replicas back behind the tower. Weeha going to commit the stun. They have to realize that is in fact not a real demon.
Radiant's
The bottom tower's been
tower
taken out
is
by
under attack.
Sasuke as well as Resolution, so there's no problem here for DC. They defend their tier 1 tower, takes minimal damage. You do burn your Dragon Form early on, but you still get the desired result. Maybe you don't burn the Dragon Form, but early tier 1 tower drop.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
They're still trying to struggle to protect the Drow. I think the best way is actually to pressure the Batrider's lane and to make sure that the Beastmaster continuously feeds and is forced to hook up with his team so they can eventually take that T1 and then trade jungles in the meantime. But alternatively, they can sit down on bottom, force the other heroes out of the Drow Rangers lane. You definitely don't want the Keeper of Light to chain farm this Radiant jungle as well as the Naga Siren, but Resolution's having his way with those pool camps.
Tusker chasing up after AU, but he can't get close enough. Cuckoo trying to defend against the end of this Dragon Form of Weeha's. When the Illuna keeps hitting the wave as well as the Morphling. Luckily for him, he had a regeneration room bottled up. An extra support behind in the form of Dazzle and the VS.
Demon's missed the Sentry Ward 2 on the mid lane. He thinks that Misery's going to go for a very different ward, and he does, but not quite as different as the Vengeful expects.
It's been a fairly common ward from DC too, exactly where he put that Sentry. Just a little bit further south. But for now, 3-1 Resolution up a very long way on the bot, but he's also got Song of the Siren, so there's not a lot TNC can really do about him. Not unless they get that Blink Dagger up and running.
Yeah, that's very problematic. He's going for Iron Talon. That's the recipe in his inventory, and he's going to farm out the Radiant jungle. Naga, it's going to have a lot of places to farm. Haste Rune on top, this could be a kill rune for them.
Yeah, they're actually saving him for Cuckoo. He replicated down to the bottom room so he can grab the bounty and get his bottle charges. And now he can help the top lane where AU is still sitting around the haste rune.
He might be just looking for a gank on Beastmaster if he shows up, but they already have his reward prepped in case Batrider is going to move there.
Maybe he's thinking about going on Weeha.
Oh, he's... they use scan on top. They definitely go for
Well, there's the movement. As you said, they go underneath the Dire Observe Ward. The Wave of Terror reveals nothing. As DC has already bailed out.
Probably expecting to have reward there, but Batrider's going to have Blink pretty soon. Just 1,000 more gold.
And then we can start seeing TNC rotate out. Unfortunately for the Batrider, where he wants to farm is currently, well, it is being stacked up. Demon waits a very long time to now try and get the big stack. That one little Centaur does get out of the yellow box just in the nick of time, so that's a big stack for the Batrider to take. And Agent to heavily stacked as well. He's even got a small stack of his own up next to Secret Shop. So Batrider should have his Blink Dagger by maybe actually about 10 minutes. Not too
Radiant's
bad.
top tower is under attack.
Not bad at all. And then they can give the farm on the top lane to Demon. They're still finding levels into the TNC supports. They need to find a little bit more though for the Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit spent most of her time just wandering around in between the lanes.
They need to stop the Naga Siren from farming. They have a observer where they're watching her farm, but she's just farming up these 3 camps and the lane at the same time, and TNC needs some towers.
Cuckoo. The stuns there from Weehaw. Cuckoo, he'll just wait for himself out. He's still got 2 more bottle charges. The next rune spawns up in 10 seconds. So he can make a play for that one as well.
Radiant's
It looks like
bottom
DC's
tower
trying to
is
do
under
something about
attack.
that. They're going to contest the runes. Okay, now they leave the top rune alone, and it will be a double damage for him.
Drow Ranger still needs TNC treads. Batrider needs to be the one to create space. He's actually sitting at 2,600 gold. I guess having a little bit of excess gold from that stack, but there's the smoke, there's the blink. Where are they going?
It's got to be bottom lane. Already DC have moved down here. They got Dragon Form available. They got to force TNC into an engagement. The treads are only now just being purchased up by the Drow Ranger, so she won't have them for this engagement.
If they don't stop the Naga Siren, they have to last the Naga Siren, then maybe Dragon Knight can rebut with a quick Dragon Kill.
They have the smoke. So Batrider needs to Firefly over the tree line. The closest one is Weehaw, and that's a good target for them with 3 heroes behind.
Yeah, Naga's...
Radiant's top tower is
And they
under
bring in
attack.
more. They actually bring in the whole 5 players of the TNC, and Weehaw, the tier 2 tower will drop. Vengeful Spirit doesn't have level 6, so we probably won't be able to catch up to Misery. Even with the movement speed, the Batrider Firefly will wear off. Misery is back up the lane, charging back to his own tier 1.
Radiant's top tower is
Moo
under
looks like he's going to
attack.
get a free tower on top in the meantime.
Really good space of him as well, building for that early Necro. After what was a bit of a disastrous start, beating those 2 kills to the
Radiant's top
Batrider.
tower has fallen.
Naga Siren getting recalled. They still want her down here. Farm safely.
She's got 1,000 gold to
Radiant's
go
top
before she got the
tower is
relic.
under attack.
Radiance won't be too far off that. Raven still in the lane. Resolution doesn't have a single point up in ensnare, so has to rely on Song of the Siren to prepare for the Tuskar control. And with a snowball forward, Drow Ranger thought he could actually get his TP out, but it wasn't possible. Back in the mid lane, Morphling able to catch out the Dragon Knight. Again, they had more help coming in from the Batrider. Even without that too, they were able to find the kill on the DK, and now
Radiant's
Sam,
top
he goes in
tower is
deeper,
under
looking for
attack.
Misery. No Firefly, but the Flame Break pushing Misery back closer, looking to keep the Ziggy Napalm charges up, and Misery, well, the Flame Break build has worn off.
And that was perfect flame break coming out from Batrider. Expertly placed. Doesn't even
Dire's
need to
middle
use
tower is
Firefly,
under attack.
let alone Lasso.
He can just get his mana up a little bit more. He can have his lasso now.
Yes.
Firefly in, you look for the Song of the Siren, no Song of the Siren, Naga Siren. There's Resolution on the run, Sticky Napalm, drum charges, give the movement speed, there's that Tuskar stage, but they can just keep it going. Resolution has 2 stacks on him, the swap back, and Resolution, he's so close with Relic Money, he'll die just short of it, and the Tuskar will go down too. TNC, fantastic rotation. So much has just been possible through this Batrider, involved in all 8 of them. They can go for the Roar, but Cuckoo's still got a replicate. Actually, no mana. Cuckoo's in trouble. He can't get himself out of this one. Move. He'll actually find the kill over on Cuckoo. The early
Radiant's
Necro
middle
paying
tower
off.
is under attack.
Morphling could have
Radiant
maybe used his
structures
replicate
are
to
fortified.
block a little bit. You want to block either the boar so that you can run away, or block the Beastmaster so you're not taking so much right-click damage. He doesn't actually have a move on the Beastmaster, so
Radiant's
should have been
middle
more
tower
difficult for
has
him to chase.
fallen.
Some small things going the way of DC. Overall, everything's been fairly even. No one's really got a big gold advantage. The experience is going a little bit the way of TNC, but not by that much.
Yeah. Even if Naga gets raided, Morphling can easily replicate herself or one of the mirror images and farm up. So not terribly
Radiant's
worried
top
about
tower
the
is under
Naga
attack.
raiding. It's not a timing that DC can do all too much with, especially without a mech for them. The DK is fairly vulnerable. Naga's not level 11, so they can't really pick fights willy-nilly without song.
Yeah, and that's why you just go to the split push. Once that Aghanim Scepter's over on Misery, every lane will be a split push lane. TNC are on the hunt. The double damage rune on the top river taken by Cuckoo. Didn't get a glimpse of Weeha.
Dire's
moving to the mid lane with a chance of Observer Ward right behind that tier 1 tower. They isolate Food, no necropooks available. The Waffling waveforms in. So Cuckoo, and it was sure his last hit. The Illuminate will hit from Misery, but it's only a level 2, so minimal damage, easily repaired by a Shadow Wave Demon.
Dire's middle tower.
And in fact, the Batrider's already looking for more. Getting Misery back behind his own tier 2, and this is an early draw range, remember, which means tier 2 towers take a lot of damage. Demon Press, another Observer Ward, back behind the line. There's Sam, a great flame break. Misery's in trouble, the snowball will save him, but then they move forward. Only the creep waves, not too far away. Blind line forcing TNC out, but then the swap, they bring in the Tusker. No snowball, the Waffling waveforms into under tier 3 towers now. TNC was holding Digital Chaos, the flame break. It hits Misery. He's got 3 sticky napalm. He's gonna burn us with those tier 4s.
Sam H following up with a fantastic Void performance yesterday. Today on the Batrider, they thought they could just stall with the Keeper of Life, but Batrider is just constantly on top of them.
They're going in 15 minutes in. The Dragonlands are almost done, but they're not there yet. You've now got TNC just chipping away into tier 3s. DC is respawning, but there's no reason to force the issue any further. You don't want to give DC a chance to get back into
tower is under attack.
DC's really relying on their cooldowns. The Dragon Knight ultimate, they killed him while he had his ultimate up. That's like a minute and a half cooldown afterwards. Beastmaster revolves around 80-90 seconds with Necro 3 and Roar, or Necro rather, and Roar. But they're not really able to constantly fight, and TNC are just looking for fight after fight after fight after DC uses anything of value.
Looks like DC are off on a smoke maneuver. They'll find the bounty in bottom river. They do take it, looking towards Roshan. TNC are not there. And in fact, this is going to, DC, they're going to give it a crack. They've got Necropooks, they've got Boars, they've got a lot of survivability. And they'll attempt to bring down Roshan while TNC aren't looking.
Tusk has added value in this
Dire's
scenario with a sigil.
Certainly
helps despite Roshan's recent attack speed buff. They have the board too, so
seems like a good time for DC to almost force a fight. You've got all your oldies, as you said, and the Radiance just got completed on the Naga Siren, so if TNC do want to try and contest this, they could find themselves in a bit of a pickle.
Well, it looks like they're scouting out right now. Morphling made a replicate. The Naga Siren illusion is going to head to Roche, but it's going to be far too late.
Yep, it's actually not even going down to Roshan, it's headed to the bottom
Roshan
lane.
Has
so the whole will get killed off by the Radiance burn, but Roshan belongs to Digital Chaos. And they'll put it in the hands of the Dragon Knight.
He's not the best Aegis carrier in terms of not being able to respawn with Dragon Form, but he's still going to be in the front line. He's struggling mightily in terms of CS and levels.
It gives him the confidence to buy the straight Blink Dagger, knowing you don't have your buyback at least.
Yeah, but it also gives TNC a lot more incentive to go for the Naga Siren.
Yeah. And that's where Tuskar comes into play. Hasn't really been, like, there's been a couple of saves, but can't get him out of trouble.
He has to be really careful though with the snowballs. He's been really good about it. The one where he tried to skip to the neutrals, the one where he like tried to make it look like he was casting on all the TNC heroes, but he actually casted on the creep. They all backed away to get more distance from the snowball. But if he has a bad snowball and they get like hit into a gust, that could just be horrendous fight for DC.
DC 4-man smoke headed up to the top lane. They don't want to give up this tier 1 tower. And TNC, they're also going to 4-man smoke. They head over, there's a Radiant Observer Ward and a Dire Observer Ward down. But of course, under the cover of smoke, both teams are none the wiser. Firefly up to the Batrider. He's looking for moves, going too far up. The Sun, once he gets the Lasso, but now Song of the Siren. Resolution will hold the fight, so DC can reposition. The Illuminate will not really connect that heavily on the Batrider. They're going to swap Weeha back in. There's a lot of sticky napalm cuts up. He lets off as much damage as he can before he'll die. The Aegis Immortal Burst, remember, no Dragon Form when he comes back to life again. And Sam keeps going in deeper. The roar out from Moo, but they're so low on life. They have to back up that replicant. It does so much damage. It was going with a Radiance. The Morphling has gone in deeper. He'll find the Beastmaster. While Sam is on the run, the Necro unit trying to find the Batrider. It just wants to hit him once. It can't do it. Cuckoo might be a little bit too deep under the tier 2 tower. But then again, this is a Morphling, straight Morphling, 2400 life. But with the help of the rest of
Dire's top tower
TNC,
is
they
under
take
attack.
a good fight against DC.
Yeah, I really like how involved Cuckoo has been. He can just do so much damage just with a simple replicate. He doesn't even really need that many items on himself, albeit he is pretty
Dire's
darn farm.
structures
The
are
early burn from
fortified.
Elemental Spear so they can deal with the Radiance burn. I see an early
Dire's
cloak
top tower
on
is
the
under
Dazzle. We've
attack.
seen a lot of teams forego the Pipe of Insight as they try to push high ground versus heavy magic damage dealers, Mirana, Keeper of the Light, and this game it seems like the Pipe is going to be of utmost importance.
Is this one of these games too where you wonder if the Naga's Radiance works against you with the replicate? We saw it with the Nixon Assassin back in one of our group stage games.
A little bit.
Should this almost be turned off until you see a replicate?
Oh, definitely not. You need to accelerate your own farm, and Morpling's going to get farm regardless. But it would just hurt your farm too much if you
Radiant's middle tower
split
is
without
under
the
attack.
Radiance. So Morpling and Naga kind of even, I suppose. Like, Morpling's lower network, but this is where he's weaker in the game. He doesn't have a farm accelerator like Radiance, and he can replicate the Naga Siren, but it's more the Dragon Knight versus the Drow Ranger. And Drow Ranger is far ahead of the Dragon Knight, and we didn't even go for a farming item. He went for a Blink Dagger.
And it went for initiation. See if he can get that catch before the Four Staffs.
Yeah.
Pull TNC away to safety.
They don't have a hero that can stick on the Drow. Normally you see like a very strong armament carrier in front, like Lifesteal is a good example of carrier. It's like, okay, I'm just going to run at the Drow Ranger to disable marksmanship. But right now they don't have a hero that can do that. They can't stick on top of their Drow Ranger. How can she get Josh and Dragonlance? So she's not going to be at the forefront of the fight.
TNC are grouping up again from the top lane. Their sentry ward is in fact in range of that Dire Orb. They just don't have vision on the hillside. So DC still know
Dire's
exactly
top
what
tower
TNC are
is
up
under
to.
attack.
And that's why they're bailing out. They're
Radiant's
forcing into the
bottom
tier 2 tower
tower
on
is
bot lane.
under attack.
Weehar's already down there. They just try and push
Dire's
out the
top
mid lane if
tower has
possible.
fallen.
TNC are slow and patient. They still take fights despite TNC having the units that are not really worried, even though Naga like had a really early farm. It seemed like they were
Radiant's
clearly
bottom
prepared
tower
for
is under attack.
like, a early
Radiant's
Naga pick
bottom
from
tower
DC,
has
considering
fallen.
how well it worked out for them in the group stage as well as at the men's.
Nice rune for Moon to find. He's going to actually have an invis, but fortunately for him, everyone else is just so far away. They're not finding any kind of opening. But they do put down some aggressive observer wards through the TNC Radiant jungle. DC do want to find an opening. We will have one maybe a little bit more difficult now to kill off the Morphling as he finishes up a full Lincoln Sphere to go along with that Dragon Lance.
I think TNC are going to hit their timing really soon too. They're buying a lot of early game items, way more so than normal. The Urn and the Vlads on the Vengeful Spirit. We see Dazzle with the early Hood, as opposed to Glimmer, which I think is more skirmishy. I think they're just trying to end the game pretty early, maybe get next Roach and try and script the cranks on DC, pin them to their base.
Well, with the Dragon Lances, they can attack in, so hey, why not?
Yeah, double Dragon Lance too.
What's DC going to do right now? Like, you Song with the Siren, but TNC already proved, like, Song with the Siren, DC had all the time in the world to prepare for it, and TNC still won the fight against the Negan's lineup.
Yeah, they have great sustain. If you don't kill people after Illuminate, they can easily heal up with the Shadow Wave too, which Demon has maxed out. So you're not really going to be able to slowly chip him down through Radiance, Burn, and Auto Illuminate, which is what this strategy relies on.
I like this from DC, however. I don't commit any heroes, just put 2 balls in the top lane to push into the tier 2 tower and force some kind of reaction from TNC. TNC don't have as easy a lineup to drag
Radiant's
everyone in
top
because they
tower is
don't
under
have
attack.
the recoil that comes in from the Keeper of the Light. And Misery's going to have to start using that soon. He's already triggered his Ghost Form, he's halfway through the duration.
Not going to be easy for them. And TNC are lacking a gem at the moment,
Dire's
like the
bottom
completed
tower
pipe, so they're
is
not
under
like
attack.
super ready, but ready enough.
It's enough for TNC to take a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower.
Dire's bottom
Get a ward up on that
tower has
hillside
fallen.
before DC try and fight you. The Beastmaster
Dire's
really needs to
bottom
have that
tower
blink dash
is under
before they're
attack.
ready to go.
Because they want to use that
Radiant's middle tower
like he has
is under
the
attack.
option of pushing the left side T2 as TNC are going for this push, but if he uses Necro 3 with high ground, then
Dire's bottom
Wait, the
tower
nice
has
jumping
fallen.
down Tusker. Sam at 10 finding the picks, the 4-star. Helping to drag it back out with the extra range from that Ether Lens. Finds the grab, and DC, they're a man down, and with the Observer Wall being planted nicely inside the DC base, TNC have nice high ground vision. So Sam can once again maybe make a play. Misery's a little bit too far out, but the blink forward, they just explode him. He has captive strike, a little bit of firefly, and that's all you need to kill off the Keeper of the Light. There's no buyback for Misery.
TNC with a very cleverly placed observer was. Keeper of the Light thought he had help of Frog on his side.
But he also had the help of the Hawk, which is now there. That's fortification. Tried to slow things down. Good thing Mood didn't commit those Necro 3s to the push on the top lane, but on bottom, that tier 3 tower is almost caught. They're killing off the replicas in the tree line, so at least they don't have to deal with the Radiance Naga burning themselves. But that range, that melee is almost down. Shards are flying forward. Keeper the lines back up. Necro books forward. Weehaw blinking at actually keeping himself in the back lines. Controls up Demon nicely. There's still a Shallow Grave Assault. People get to this stuff. And it's clear the multiple parts. Naga now has 5 back. And Demon needs to get GPs down. Raven with that damage from the Hurricane Pike. Almost killing Weehaw. And the rest of TNC move down. DC, they're losing way too much here. They need to find an opening with the last two. They hold resolution. They can't have a dieback here. In fact, Sam down manually. 4-star will hold actually drain the mana. Hitting the stun, and the Batrider locked inside the shard. He will be snowballed down. So DC, it is a costly defense, but they do hold TNC out and maintain the life of their racks.
Hanging on for dear life. Melee racks, half HP. Don't think TNC can go for another push, especially with Roshan respawning so soon. He's actually going to respawn in the next 10 seconds or so, but that's your worst nightmare as a Naga Siren. Going for the base defense, having to help your team out this game when you have heroes that can stall. I think Tusk and Keeper are both pretty darn good at stalling. Even the Beastmaster split pushing out another lane should be enough to dissuade TNC from reaching the high ground. But when your Naga has to get involved, and then she dies, and then she has to buy back, you know you're in a really tough spot.
DC need to slow this game down if possible, but TNC, they look like they want to go faster. A Blink Dagger pick up on the Morphling, leaning more towards the lines of just straight pick off from TNC and go high ground again.
You can't fight DC's position. You have to break like the keep fight. You always have to force them to turn around, not cast full duration illuminates, and more importantly, access the Siren on the back line.
They see AU playing raw. Raven's going to be here with a gust, goes up to the Beastmaster. AU low on life, and a Shallow Grave kicks in from Demon in time. Actually, he'll be there for the Vengeful Spirit. Even with a swap, he can't get away, so 2 supports down for TNC. Hard to break the lines now, but Cuckoo in through the rear. He does have to turn around. I'm not certain about this. You're right. Weehaw, he'll cut free. Got the Cullen Blade up his sleeve, so he does get out. But then Raven and Sam looking to focus on him. The ball keeping him slow. The snowball, they'll close the distance now between DC as well as Sam. He's the big one. It's the background. There's so much work already for TNC. Taking a fall. And now it's DC who are on the push. Attacking to the tier 2 tower, and Morphling having no real influence. Even if he is full life behind them.
The beginning of the fight just started off so well for
Radiant
DC. They went on to Vengeful
structures
Spirit
are
and stunned the Dazzle at the same time, so they could just nab both supports. Ooh, that was a quick blink out.
Easy time to work with the Cuckoo. In through the side, finds the Tusker. Resolution can trigger the Lincoln Sphere, back to ensnare. Weehaw, then the stun. And Breathe Fire. Keeping Cuckoo low, but the Blink Dagger back off cooldown. He's just so maneuverable with this item. And then Replicant. Where does he want to go? He looks down towards Moo. The Song of the Siren out from Resolution. Where's the support? It is not there. DC just want to get out of here. Straight up TP home to safety. And they know that TNC have to come back. The bottom lane's pushing in too heavily, but it looks
Radiant's
like TNC with no Song of the Siren up,
attack.
they want to go for Roshan.
Wow, normally like Song of Thunder is not that big a deal, but for this, there's no way they can defend Roche without it.
Misery's going to try the Blinding Light. No one gets clipped.
They have to hawk on the side, but Roshan trying to recall, but Morphling already have the Aegis of Immortal. I like the timing from TNC. Any small mistake from DC, immediate reaction, and they she's got Roche off of one song.
That they did. TNC, it's the reason why you can say they deserve to be at this point of the lower bracket, to have a top 8 position, fighting for that top 6 if they can win this game.
They still have the reward on the right. It's still up for 1 minute. This is a really good time for them to push right now.
We swap back out again. The Raw goes to Vengeful Spirit. The double 4-star, getting AU a long way away to safety. They trigger the defensive weave too, so DC can't really pump in a lot of physical damage.
Uh-oh, there are no green diamonds in DC. I don't see any ultimate stuff up to them aside from Dragon Knight. That's not a good sign.
Have to wait. There's 4 seconds until Song of the Siren's up. So they do have that. Beastmaster Raw, 50 seconds, 70 seconds in Necro too. But he did at least find that Observer Wall on bottom lane, so that is now gone. And the Necros, they can stand their ground. Actually, there's no creep wave. The mid creep wave is all the way back at the mid river. TNC's waiting for so long for this.
Morphling goes in on his replicate.
That's it! He's not gonna get out of this one, or is he? They've got the control, he's straight forcing up the wall red punt. One 4-star, but they got another one. Cuckoo, only can just stand in fight. He kills the couple of the tier 4 towers. Cuckoo, he actually gets away with murder. Outside the base, DC can't stop him.
Yeah, he ran in with a Naga illusion and they manually been trying to push it down. He just comes in. That was so deep.
It's crazy to think he's getting these kills too. Like, it shows you how weak the Coddle is. When you don't have an E-Blade, you have a Lincoln Sphere Hurricane Pike Morphling.
The Dragon Lance is extremely useful for the strategy that they're going for. Normally, Morphling you don't see get involved until 20-25 minutes, but he's been involved all game.
Seems to be great ways to kite too. Like, it's the perfect combination with these, like, Core Staff and Dragon Lance into the Hurricane.
And they're showing up for late game. They have the Morphling already. They have the Maelstrom on Drow Ranger. I really dislike the Axe first before the Maelstrom. I think the way better progression is Maelstrom first and Axe.
We've seen this multiple times throughout even just the playoffs. But this seems to be the build they lean towards.
Do have a replicate of the Batrider, so maybe Cuckoo trying to look for a pick off with that, especially if Tusk or someone else wants to go on that. DC, they still need more time. I think one of the more important items for them is keeping the light Ags, so they can actually win a team fight off the heel and split push additional lanes with a permanent recall.
You'll need time to farm that up, and where's he going to get it? Like, inside of his own jungle? You want to stack and farm there when TNC are moving as heavily as they are? Just like now, they smoke maneuver down the mid. That's what the replicate is there for. It allows
Raven
Morphling to stay with him. Resolution so close. They scan inside the base. They don't realize that Resolution is there. No one took the Radiance burn.
Radiant's bottom
And now,
tower is
the
under
Observer
attack.
Ward. They'll find it. Song of the Siren. The gem of DC also lost.
That's permission.
Not gonna end better. However, DC.
Their bottom lane, they're attacking the tier 3 towers. Dan's gonna come in a very quick blink from Weeha. Just supply it.
Radiant's bottom tower is
The
under
flame break
attack.
was in the air. Vengeful Spirit out of mana. And Weeha will get recalled. No damage from TNC to cancel that. So Misery pulling back Weeha after doing a good job. That bottom tower now down to 390.
Very timely. DC too. Stun out on the BS, greater mana, so she can't stop you. However, they're marching down mid. Still a healthy minute left on the Aegis of the Immortal.
That Song of the Siren is off cooldown, and if DC can keep them out for another 23 seconds.
Oh, Morphling be on near buff on him.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to wait a little bit longer on that one, Resolution. There's no fortification, but they don't want to take any chances. The bottom lane's just being pushed in the middle. Replica of the Drow Ranger. And that has done almost half damage to the range racks. And even managed to pick off the Sigil. Okay, finally they get rid of it.
But you could tell they were scared. They're like, oh, is he gonna replicate on us?
Now they need a scythe or something. This would have been a beautiful game to have something like a lion to get rid of that damn thing.
Ideally, but they were not prepared for this. And their supports are really struggling to get items. Soxa and Misery both sitting at the bottom of the network chart at the moment. So another buyback expended for old Nagwa Siren. She's still like decently farm number 1 on net worth, but that's so much gold loss for DC when all their eggs are in the Naga basket.
TNC, 5 men again, straight down the mid. They have one creep alive that can fend off the back door.
So I don't really know who they jump at the moment. If they jump at Morph, they'll throw the Mjolnir buff on him and he'll just strength Morph, and then they'll waste like half spell, like Link or PMO.
But can you jump on the Drow Ranger? At least she doesn't have magic immunity.
They'll swap the Drow out if they go on Drow. So I think it has to be like a simultaneous engagement. Tusk on one, and then they have 3 different like stuns and range stuns at that. Well, I guess Snowball's not really range, but close enough.
This could be a better way for DC to do it. Still before TNC are properly grouped up as 5. They're fairly close together. The most obvious one is Raven currently on the top lane. He's just farming up one of the illusions. Actually, Hurricane Titan to farm that illusion up, and they jump perfectly. Raven will drop. Now they move down towards Demon. One to the next. DC, they've just caught themselves to break the TP out. Resolution has to instead to cancel it. So Demon will die on the stairs. And that is some much needed room to breathe for Digital Chaos.
Careless maneuvers by the Drow Ranger and nice smoke from DC. However, not at the best time for them. Roshan in that respawning phase. Ideally, you want to do it before Rosh, but it's just way too obvious if you smoke around that time. Well, I think they like continuous damage of the team fights. Dragon Knight's really struggling for items.
Once he's got the BKB, life might get a lot easier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm wondering how long until the Morphling finishes up his next. Is the E-Blade now completed on Cuckoo? So blink into shotgun. DC almost have to understand they don't have supports in these fights. Like they just won't survive. Unless Misery sits all the way back. At least he's now like 600 gold away from having Aghanim Scepter. So that's a nice thing for him. I'm looking at Resolution picking up that ultimate orb.
Yeah, you're really just mostly worried about the Keeper of the Light dying, because he doesn't have Blink Dagger, he doesn't have that much HP, and he's the one that probably does the most damage in the fights. Without really doing that much, all he has to do is just press Illuminate and walk away, and he can do upwards of 2,000 damage in the fight.
Move. Cuckoo wanted to go on him. He jumped to the replicate. Now waveforms forward. E-Blade pop. The damage. It's not enough to kill off Moo. And Cuckoo might be in a little bit too deep here. The Necro units are there burning off all the mana. So there's going to be no more strength morph available for him. Moo lends the roar from the tree line. And Cuckoo pays the price. It was Stro on the top lane being picked off by a good DC smoke. And now it was the over-aggressiveness of Cuckoo that will pay the price and give DC yet another advantage.
Sucks, that has to be happy about that one. It's a lot of gold going for him and gets a monster streak kill and above 1,000 gold for that. So now they can get like maybe a Glimmer Cape to deal with the EB.
So DC, time to get items.
Radiant's bottom
time to
tower
get that
is
farm
under
we're looking
attack.
for. The rest of TNC.
Dire's top tower
They're
is
still on the
under
run
attack.
here. Well, Blink, class 2, Tusker. Well, he just got 1,000 gold. He's going to give about almost 350 over to the Throw Ranger. They're not done yet. Even still in the neighborhood. Resolution does have some of the siren if they want to try and catch up to the rest of TNC. After Demon does drop.
I bet he's wondering, how did they see me? Yeah, reserve reward right to the left. Not a very common one, especially this late into the game. But it's also what they use to deal with the Drow Ranger, making sure the whole entire team wasn't behind.
Really smart play coming out from DC, exposing the weaknesses of TNC.
They need another gem though on the Naga Siren. They lost it a long time ago. She's had to buy back twice. Everyone's trying to get their items. Keeper's really close to his edge.
Radiant's middle
40 gold
tower
away.
is under
And
attack.
Dragon Knight definitely needs the items. So I guess it's maybe a Beastmaster who has 5,000 gold to help his team out. He could buy a refresher at this point, the most common build after the Necro 3. Probably even better than a gem at this point.
Choices there. Aghanims with 36 minutes for Misery to get it. But now it's arrived. Look at the flying
Radiant's
vision, and
top
yep, there
tower
she
is
is. The
under
refresh
attack.
orb is up to move. So double roars, double necros. A lot more sustain arriving because of this.
Yeah, they need double BKBs up on TNC. And it's gotten to that point where ideally you want to break the base without BKBs, but now they're too farm to snowball off your early game advantage.
Radiant's
much
bottom
safer.
tower is under
Careful
attack.
not to throw away their lead. Roshan number 3 is up.
How does the clock actually look for TNC? Like, is it Roshan to Aegis and then you have to go high ground? Like, do they have to bring down a rat? Or is there still some good late game potential?
That's still good late game. I don't think DC have a good way. DC have a good way to deal with the split push from the Morphling. They can use Manta eventually, maybe one lane replicating one lane, Drought, Morphling, reinforcing one of the other lanes. And it's really only not trying to strong enough to do it. You can stall and keep her blinding light, but that's only going to do so much. And Roshan going to be scouted out with a Hawk, but both of them died to the Mjolnir proc, and they would not have vision inside the pit. There's no way you can do it without vision here.
They were too far away anyway. There's no way they could stop TNC. They would already be there with
Fallen to
us.
the Radiant.
And she has bombed out. So she now has a gem, Diffusal Blade, but not enough money for buyback. One of the TNC's players would probably call out that okay, she recently got Diffusal Blade. She bought back twice. there's no way that she can have enough gold. You're not like completely sure, but they've been 5-manning a decent amount. You might be able to expect that from TNC. So, Naga, the highest priority target for TNC.
We'll see if they can get the jump. Again, we look towards Sam. More than likely, that Batrider did it for TNC in the past, had a fantastic start.
Yeah. And now they know that move has been pressure.
Smoke up from DC, just on the back line, actually allows Moon to slip out through the top lane. He wants to jump into the ring, now BKB up from Weeha. Who's good time? She goes all the way back to Dimensional Spirit. No swap out, but they stumble the siren. It isolates the BKB target's resolution going down too fast. It's the BKB from Batrider, the last keep chasing and win the advantage right. It's 2 heroes down, make it 3. Weeha down to no racks. Moo has to run away on no life, but they call it. GG. TNC take game number 1 against Digital Chaos.
Wow, that sleep at the end, it was PKB wars, but TNC is not strong enough. You can't fight that right there. That was crazy. I really like how they dealt with the Naga Siren though. They expected it coming from DC, and then they prepared for it with their Jar Ranger, and then they had like the most fantastic early game for Batrider. You gotta be proud of these guys. They look happy.
That was the dream for Sam, a 10-15 KDA at the end of the game. And the unsung hero, Cuckoo, that one little bit of a misplay on bot lane as he tried to go very aggressive onto Moo, that was one of his only 2 deaths out of his 11 kills. So